And hi, this is Steve Hodgson here at Modern Asset Management. On the phone with Mark Gibbs. Hi, Mark.
Hi.
Hi. And we're going to talk today about a second position note that he's purchased, trying to figure out a way to turn this into something that works for him and the borrower. It sounds like we were talking a little bit beforehand. So I'm going to share my screen. All right, let's see. This, get that out of the way. Go here. Move my little pictures of you. And we're talking about 11709 Palmer Court. And Fayetteville, Georgia. Let's see what you bought. So you said you have a second.
Yes.
You got a second from FCI. And so I've opened a string of windows here and we'll take a look at what this is.
Mm-hmm.
So Zillow tells me, looks like a nice house, right?
Yeah, it looks fairly decent. Who knows on the inside, right?
Yeah, and so I've got, now, so let's go over the numbers quick again. You said we have a $28,000 second that had only been paid down to $27,600 in some number of years, right? When was the loan origination?
Originated in 2005, I believe it was.
Okay, so right before the crash.
Yep. Stop payments in 2011.
Okay. All right. And so when you said that, so here you are, you've got 10 years of late fees and interest and all this, and it's now a gigantic $54,000 number.
Correct.
Right? And you purchased the $27,000 in principal for $7,500.
Yes.
From FCI, and that's, so far I'm like, this is a good deal. This is a good deal. You bought it the right margin.
Right.
You said, well, tell me again what her first was.
Her first is a deferred principal currently at $93,525, which she's been paying on, I believe, since 2012.
Okay. So she's keeping the first, but so they took $20,000 and put it on the back side.
Yep.
So you are close to unsecured, right?
Close to unsecured, right.
Here's a little, we'll go look at here. I like that it's in a neighborhood, so you get a decent idea of comps. So much of what I see is scattered and rural and hard to figure out.
Mm-hmm.
This is a 2012 picture, but we can make a guess that this neighborhood is held up, right?
Pretty much, I'd say so.
Here's what they call the subject property, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay. I don't think we care about e-appraisal. We don't care about home snap. We've got, this is foreclosure data from Realty Track.
Okay.
And it just gives me I always pop over here to get a sense of what's going on. And I've got I don't see any 150s, right?
Right.
Here's 168. Here's a 16. That's a repeat. 140. So okay, maybe there's. Well, this is a much larger. This one here is a 4.2,
Right.
almost double the size for 140. So I don't know. We'll jump back to Zillow, and I'm assuming you've gone through some of this.
I have. So my last Z estimate I pulled last week was 122. Initially, when I bought this, I was looking at comps at 140.
Mm-hmm. And one of the issues, certainly the Zillow estimate is never spot on. You're never going to get top of market going through a foreclosure, of course.
Yep.
You're likely to wind up at a cash price, which is typically 70%. So selling this at a foreclosure, you're not gonna get made whole.
Right.
So I went back a year, and you've got similar size property at 138. I got a bigger house at 145. She's over here. No, she's in the cul-de-sac.
Yeah, this 123, that one right there.
Yeah. Okay. So it's her. So this is a larger lot. That's good. Let's go look at this one. So this is the neighbor behind her.
Mm-hmm.
Sold 137. All cleaned up. So that's your high end.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get rents. Do you have an idea on local rent?
I just looked that up on Rentometer the other day, and I believe we were in the 11 to 1,200 a month area, or maybe slightly to the higher side of that.
Okay, so that's a viable outcome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So potentially it's a $1,200 a month rent.
Yeah. What do you think? So if you do go through the foreclosure, though, with the first, it'll be subject to the first with a deferred principal. You think that first position lender is going to call the loan if they know it's been foreclosed?
Nope.
No.
Nope. So this is the play where you're foreclosing from second position on a property that you'd like to keep because it's got rental value, and it's and we can do a little quick research and show you how on the buy side, it's probably not a whole lot of reason to talk about whether or not Fayetteville, Georgia is where you want to be, but so you can, if you've got, call it $1,100 a month rent, you've got $100 to the property manager, you're grossing $1,000, and you've got a mortgage to service, and so she, with it having the big deferral on the back, she may not be that inclined to pay it, because she knows that she's at or underwater.
Right.
You have to be prepared to make the mortgage payments. And the best way to work that out is in the foreclosure process that you get agreement, right? You get agreement and you pick up her mortgage payments and continue them on her behalf.
Okay.
So it's she's simply directing the bank and giving you permission. You don't tell the bank she sold the property. You just give me your bank account number, give me access, and we'll start making payments. The benefit you get is you don't get a foreclosure on your credit report. That'll go three ways. It'll go bankrupt, it'll go yes, or it'll go money, right? So 7,500 was your purchase price. You've been in it a year,
Mm-hmm.
right? Knowing that you're holding this giant $54,000 over her head, which she's learned from her neighbors is make believe money.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's not the only, won't be the only person probably in her block that's doing the same kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah, it rolls through, millions of homes, but it certainly get concentrated in some neighborhoods. So I'd foreclose. I'd start foreclosure,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd push for a settlement inside of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she's likely to. You said when you talked to her, she offered 150 a month.
On her monthly payments, that
Yeah,
was
and she
apparently
did
all.
that for 3 months.
Yeah.
Did you get any kind of credit application, source of funds, any of that?
No, I did not.
Okay, yeah. So it's the and this is where it falls into what I've been doing my whole life, is collecting bills,
Mm-hmm.
and it's almost as important as the money is knowing where the money's coming from,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so in a modification request, there's a pretty standard package of information that they need to supply. She's familiar with that. She's done it before.
Okay.
So you'd want that. You'd want to know what's different now to have me, bend over backwards again because I've already done it once.
Mm-hmm.
So you took 3 times 150. Could she do 3 times 100?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So she could do 3 times 100, and you worked out some continued modification. Roll it forward. Try 3 months, see how you do. Then you could consider, maybe going into a new agreement. That brings you into the whole, you're not a licensed lender. You really can't be writing mortgages, and what qualifies you in the state of Georgia to do that. Are you a registered entity in the state of Georgia?
No.
No. Okay. Georgia really takes a dim view of those.
Right. If you have more than a certain number, 3 per year, isn't it?
One.
Okay.
Georgia's, all states are, I can make a case that all states are weird, but Georgia's 2 things that I think are weird. Georgia takes a strong defense at the attorney general level that against debt collectors.
Mm-hmm.
That you're not licensed, you're not registered, you can't enforce this obligation that you bought. You have to be a registered debt buyer. There's path through that by assigning to an attorney, which will usually get you enough cover. The other is, once you're awarded a judgment in Georgia, it's not just executable against the property. It's executable against anything they own. I mean, anything.
Mm-hmm.
The couches, the TV, the car. It's crazy. But they protect their consumers from people from the outside,
Mm-hmm.
and we're from the outside.
Right.
So you'll need. Would you do it through FCI?
I'm going to ask you what your opinion is on doing this. I've worked with an attorney, the one that drafted the loan modification. It's based out of Georgia.
Okay.
I don't know that I'm always enamored by FCI, but what would your take be through FCI?
I've been experimenting with all the different services and their terms. I've been using FCI's minimal $30 a month collection fee.
Mm-hmm.
And doing just that, assigning to an outside agent or attorney.
Through FCI?
No.
Okay.
One through FCI, and the others, no, I haven't.
Okay.
There's where are you located?
Portland, Oregon.
Okay, you're in Oregon. There's an attorney firm, Daniel Singer, who makes the rounds at all the trade shows, and Singer is an experienced real estate collection attorney, but what he runs is not his own. This wouldn't fall under his own practice. He's here in California. He runs a outsourcing business.
Mm-hmm.
So he would have a relationship with an attorney in Georgia that would pick it up from there. That would pick it up, and you would pay him. He charges like $50 a month as a babysitting fee, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you would direct your focus to him, you direct your questions to him, and he would act as the intermediary and process your case. So he manages collection attorneys all over the country, and he has people in process that do that. This is your one and only loan?
No, this is one of 3 loans that I have.
Okay, so you're still hands-on.
Yeah.
So I think from the learning standpoint, going direct to counsel
Mm-hmm.
is the best path.
Okay.
I don't do business in Georgia because of my past experience in collection rules.
Yeah. Okay.
But I'm in a lengthy process right now in Louisiana, which it could be, I could do a half hour just of like stand-up jokes on it, but it'll someday resolve itself. It was a foreclosure turned probate, and the heirs lied to the court in the probate process and claimed there was no indebtedness.
Oh.
So now I'm suing 6 people.
Yeah. Okay.
6 people and trying to attach 5 pieces of property in order to get my one bill paid.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very little town. Everybody knows each other. I'm the guy from California, so I got my work cut out for me.
Right. So straight to foreclosure. And let me ask you this, FCI, when I contacted him about starting a foreclosure process on this, since her last payment was, I believe it was right around December 1st or end of November, I can't remember.
Mm-hmm.
They say she needs to be 3 months in the arrears before they can take any foreclosure action.
Mm-hmm.
So I sit on it for at least the current time frame. Does it make sense to reach out to Daniel Singer or another attorney group before then?
It's again, I think maybe you go to the guy who wrote the mod. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't have written a mod, by the way. I would, for 3 payments, I'm going to say you make 3 payments and prove it, and then maybe you make 3 more, and with this carrot out there that I'm going to make all this concession, but you have to prove yourself first because you paid a bunch of money to get the mod written, right?
Oh yeah.
So I think going back to the same guy, if he does this kind of work, mm-hmm. He already knows you. He knows the property. She knows what the letterhead looks like when it shows up in the mail.
Okay.
Right? She knows it's real. There's an awful lot of traction lost when you start swapping things around.
Okay.
FCI is, I would think the FCI collection effort on your behalf would not justify the $95 a month.
Right.
Right. So you're going to have to pay them $30 because it needs to be it. The rules say loans need to be serviced somewhere. Non-paying seconds, shelling out $90 a month on a non-paying second for who knows how long isn't my idea of fun. I don't know if the attorney would take it directly. Now that you've gotten some money collected, she's entitled to a 1099 for interest, and that's really what the process is. I'll take loans and work them until I've got payments, and then place them with the servicer.
Okay.
Because I want them to do that accounting. I'm also a licensed lender here in California, so my work that I do here, I keep myself. I've got a little staff of 2 that takes care of things. Mm-hmm. So call the attorney, see what they would do, stay with the $30 FCI for the moment. Mm-hmm. And you may, I don't even know if they give it back to you if it's not going to another servicer, but maybe it could go, maybe they would release it to the attorney. So there's rules that they're responsible for to make sure that this kind of paper doesn't go out into the wild, wild west. which is where we are. You know, we're doing this all on our own.
Right.
Right. But yeah, I don't know. So, yeah, I'm debating whether or not to have Singer. If Singer would take it, I don't think, no, Singer wouldn't take it. So you'd pay 30 to FCI, you'd pay 50 to Singer for collection management, and then it would go to an attorney that they know,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Which could end up being the same attorney I've already.
Yeah, it could be. And,
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and so those I think are the paths. She's likely to come back with more money. Right? She's been in the house, her 13th year in the house now.
About something like that.
Yeah, and you know, things are good. Property's improved. She's thinking there's some equity there. You know, and she may want to protect it. But then you've got to look at, you know, you don't go back to 150 a month.
Mm-hmm.
What's taking my calculator out rather than open up something on the computer. Say we went 15 years, 6% on the original 27,000, which I wouldn't give that away, by the way. I wouldn't go to that point, but just use that and see what a number comes out to. That's 228 a month.
Mm-hmm.
You split the difference of the arrears with her, and you came in at, say, 35,000.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe 7.5% because she's, you know, a bad credit risk.
Mm-hmm.
That's 325 a month.
Yeah.
You know, you'd take 325 a month. You'll be all into this probably $10,000, or maybe you're getting close to 10,000 now.
Mm-hmm. Right. So renegotiating it, roughly 35,000 total outstanding. Getting on a repayment plan. That's a better interest rate. 7.5 is a better interest rate than she currently had on the note.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty good if she's willing to stick with it.
Yeah, and so people hear the two things. The first thing people hear is monthly payment, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because they're living in a survival mentality and they don't think ahead. The second is you say 10%, and they go, "Oh my God!" So if she's in an 8 or 9, you say, "Look, I'll drop the interest rate in exchange. You can do the same sort of arrears that she has on the loan now." Or you could, I like giving credit for payments. You give me $300, I'll count it as 500 against the whole 54.
Okay.
Right?
How long would you do that for?
Till she got tired of doing it.
Okay.
Right. Okay. So if you could get her to $350 a month and give her this credit against this phantom balloon of interest and fees, then she feels that she's getting the balance reduced down.
Okay. Who do you, that gets to be, I'll just put it this way, for me, challenging accounting in
Mm-hmm.
terms of, I don't want to keep track of it every month and then be issuing interest statements at the end of the year. Who do you work out something like that through, an FCI or a different group?
FCI can handle it. I'm okay with FCI. There's a company called AFSI. I don't remember what it stands for. I've sold a couple of mortgages, seller finance mortgages I've created to people that are using them. And Allied Servicing is up your way. They're up in Washington.
Yep.
And they have a flat $19 a month product.
Okay.
And pretty much you tell them what to do, and you could work it out with her. You know, every 3 payments, I'll give you a credit for a 4th, something like that. You know, so you don't have to. So you're not at it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, make 10 payments. I'll count it as 12. You know,
Okay.
and that might be the way.
Okay.
And again, if you're giving away arrears, then it's owed, it's owing payable, but it's not
It wasn't what you bought the loan for in the first place.
Right. And she's never gonna come up with $54,000.
Right.
She has no reason to.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But she could have, that house might have $25,000 in equity. We saw the house behind sold for 135.
Yeah.
You know, and she is chipping away at the loan she has now.
Mm-hmm.
You have any idea what those terms were other than it was deferral?
You know, I have the original note, but I can't remember the specifics on it right now. I was paying more attention to that loan mod that was done.
Okay, so I'm mildly sort of on the hunt from time to time for Citibank firsts to go behind a Citibank first, because they were giving away 2% 40-year loans.
Mm-hmm.
And please, I'll pay you to move out. I'll make all your payments. I'll make the second go away. Just let me have your 240. You know? Mm-hmm. And in fact, I got a friend down in Southern California that does exactly that.
Hmm.
And he's become a property manager.
Yeah.
What
would you do to verify? You know, when you Googled or did the Z estimate for that, you saw that foreclosure note up at the top. I'm not in any belief that the property is actually in foreclosure, but I'm not certain why that's coming up on there. What would you do to verify the first position?
Let's go back. Let's go back and look what that was. Oh, that's the neighbor. All right, we'll close that. This was this one.
Yeah, the pre-foreclosure there.
Pre-foreclosure auction, and this was the last time there was a public record updated. And so it's been in this status since November of 15. Mm-hmm. All right. Clayton. New records found. Whoops. Knew I was going to do that one.
Second one. There we go.
So she's been in the house since 05. She's got a full warranty deed. Right. So that was this was the key. It's still in her name.
Yep.
Oh, better on the same tab we started with. Yeah, it was. All right, looking for where to find. Been there. We were just here. Whoops. Date paid. Oh my goodness. She's due here for 2009 on her property taxes.
Mm-hmm.
Why haven't they moved on it? All right. Well, but then down here it says total balance due 0. Total payable 1909. See down here at the bottom?
Yeah.
Right, total net, but then total balance due. And I come up here, and I don't want the 2009 tax bill. I want the current tax bill. Right, that's worth a phone call.
Can you do a back screen?
Go back a page.
Yeah. How about 2017?
Oh, I just went in the wrong place. Oh, cool. Okay, thank you.
So if that's 2017, that would make sense. Oh wait, 2007. No, we're in 2018.
Well, let's go. But to your point, let's go back to 16 and see what's there. Total balance due. Okay, so I'm going to presume that she's got taxes and insurance impounded on her loan.
Right.
So the first positions kept that up. She's making payments to them. Yeah, that more convinces me to go push for something. They said so you're going to be all in it for 10 or 11, and if you got say 325, you lost some service fees, so say you got 275 a month net to you, and call your all-in 12, and the calculator tells me that's a 27% return.
Right.
Right? Yeah. Spread over 15 years. You give her a shorter term. So you give her a 10-year term, that brings your yield down to just down to 25. That's still plenty good.
Yeah.
And it's a, if you magically got her seasoned, it'd certainly have value closer to half.
Right. Right.
And that would be the exit that I'd look for is get her all seasoned up, and by then you may have had some conversation, understand how good her deal is on her first, and maybe there's a takeout opportunity. We send our loans after they're paying over to guaranteed rate, and they work them through a counseling program and try to get them into a new mortgage. Typically, I'm writing 10% 10 or 12-year loans in Florida. And we send them over to guaranteed rate after some seasoning, and they're getting some people out at 6 and 7.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So that's a huge win. That's a huge win for the consumer. It's a big win for me because I get paid out early. But that's a fix and flip to seller finance model that is what my primary work in mortgages has become. So.
Okay.
Okay, so the good, that's real good news that she's paid her taxes. That's excellent. That's excellent.
Yeah. Okay.
While I don't think you're naked for what your cash is, but I think the house is potentially upside down. So if you pushed, you're going to foreclose demanding $54,000, and you want to do that because you want to, but that's enough that she can then go get it dismissed in a bankruptcy, because it's underwater. She couldn't get rid of the 10,000. So would you foreclose with a lower demand? Would you foreclose with, say, a $27,000 demand as opposed to 54 and hope somebody bought you out?
Possibly. I mean, yeah, if somebody bought me out at 27,000, I'd still be on the up very well.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, that would make sense.
Yeah, and somebody like me who will work those systems may come along and give you, maybe not a 27 offer, but an offer. Somebody local that knows the product, knows what they're doing in that area.
Mm-hmm.
I think, but also I this is one of the nicer houses I've seen talking to people. I
Yeah.
think, oh, this is a real house. This
Right.
is real. You could put a tenant in here and ride it for 10 years.
Right. Right.
And it did, if it would rent, I think it would rent just great, and that's just boring, a couple $100 a month profit.
Yeah, which is good enough for me.
Yeah.
So, all righty.
Yeah. I think you're onto something.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate the time again.
Oh, well, it's I'm just trying to get the word out.
Yeah.
We gotta talk among ourselves because well, we do. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Tell me, what note conferences are you liking right now?
Paper Source.
Yeah, the Las Vegas this year, I think.
Yeah, Paper Source.
Okay.
I've been to them all. Paper Source.
Okay, I gotcha. Yeah, no, I'm looking at trying to do that one too this year.
And it's not entirely, our room is not entirely the room for this, although there's a lot of it. It's for me, I've migrated more towards seller finance because I get to control the asset all the way through.
Mm-hmm.
And that started as a seller finance conference like 20 years ago.
Okay.
So it still has a focus of that. I know Sandow Lau, Dean Ernst will be there talking about seconds. There'll be several people. The Note NBA guys show up. But there's lots of people selling stuff, but it's also in the room in the seminars. It's all work and no sales, very limited sales pitch.
Yeah.
So they really do give out good information, and there'll be 200 of us. I mean,
Yeah.
200 all small investors, a handful of big dogs, but mostly it's a room full of us. And I get much more out of the networking and going to breakfast and coffee and and drinks and dinner than I do from the classes.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. Sounds good.
Yeah, and so that'd be the place to catch up.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I'll be there. You know where to get a hold of me.
Yeah.
Shoot me a line and tell me how it's going.
Will do.
If I still had a bill collector license in Georgia, I'd pick up the phone for you. But thank goodness I don't anymore.
Yeah.
I ran a national collection agency, and some places are great, some places aren't. And again, the people that run the state of Georgia are protecting their consumers. They're protecting their voters, and good for them.
Yeah.
But it just makes it a little more difficult. Yeah.
Right.
So find the right Georgia lawyer. Let me know who he is.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me make contact with him again, and then I can forward that on to you.
Okay. All right, great. All right.
Okay.
Thanks a bunch. All right,
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.